You are looking live at a not-so-frozen tundra of Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, Massachusetts, where it is 65 degrees and sunny as the Dallas Cowboys look for their first road win against the New England Patriots since 1987. And we are coming to you live from the Star in Frisco in the Globe Life studios. This is Cowboys Pregame Live. Alongside Barry Church, Isaiah Stanback, I'm Kyle Yeoman, soon to be joined by Nick Eatman, Rob Phillips, Britt Johnson, and Nate Newton. We've got a full hour of coverage leading into kickoff between the Cowboys and the Patriots. And gentlemen, you've both had your battles with the Patriots. Isaiah, you played with New England for a little bit of time. So what makes this matchup so much more, let's say, intense going into a game like this?
Well, I think it's with both teams. Look, this is going to be a huge game. The Dallas Cowboys are trying to keep their foot on the gas pedal, trying to get their fifth straight victory. And then you're looking at a New England team who's been up and down so far this season. I think they're trying to figure out their identity of the team while also trying to figure out what they can accomplish with their young rookie quarterback, Mac Jones.
Yeah, you're right on it, BC. These guys are trying to prove exactly who they are with this new leadership, okay? But at the end of the day, the Dallas Cowboys they're going to be coming into this game on their P's and Q's. They got to make sure everything's buttoned up because you are facing the greatest coach of all time in Bill Belichick.
And no person in the NFL is better equipped to halt a win streak than Bill Belichick. No matter the personnel, no matter the year that it is, Bill Belichick has definitely done that throughout his career. The Cowboys have lost 6 straight home or away against New England. They haven't won against the Patriots since 1996. How does that change today, Barry?
Well, you got to be disciplined. We all know that Bill Belichick coach teams are disciplined, whether it's the run, whether it's the pass, defensively. So this Cowboys team, I think the Cowboys can outmatch this New England team. They just can't make silly mistakes and let Bill Belichick take advantage of it.
That's it. Do your job. Play mistake-free football. Don't give these guys more opportunities than you have to, and go out there and be who you are, use the personnel that we have, and let's go ahead and take care of these boys.
Got to take care of business. That's one thing the Cowboys are going to have to do, and it's really Bill Belichick saying, do your job, DYJ. You said it all the time, I think. Maybe once a day, Isaiah, now that I've gotten to hang around you and, of course, a Bill Belichick disciple on that side. Let's go out to Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, where we are now joined by Rob Phillips, who, Rob, I know you were out there in 2019 when it was freezing cold, it was rainy, it was not very nice, to say the least. It's quite the opposite this week, right?
This is the Bahamas compared to 2 years ago at Gillette Stadium. I mean, it's low 60s. It's a little chilly. There's a little bit of a wind gust there, but I mean, it's perfect fall football. As you mentioned, Kyle, 2 years ago, weather helped decide that game. Weather and special teams miscues by the Cowboys and great special teams by the Pats. I don't think weather's really going to be a factor here today. As you said, it's going to come down to tactics and how the Cowboys adjust to whatever Bill Belichick throws at them today.
And they're going to have to adjust without some of their top guys up front as well. Lyle Collins, of course, out one more week with his suspension. He's eligible to return following the bye week next week. However, Tyron Smith was limited throughout practice this week. Is there any update on Tyron Smith on his availability tonight?
Yes, the inactive just came out. Tyron Smith is active, so look for him to start at left tackle as expected. And look, he did have limited participation late in the week. A little bit of a neck issue popped up during practice, felt some discomfort. The Cowboys sent him for an MRI and said that those results were favorable. So I know when that comes up with Tyron, anything related to a neck, I think people's eyebrows raise because of the neck surgery that he had last year, but they don't seem concerned about it. Something to keep an eye on, obviously, and Ty Nsekhe is expected to be active as well as the backup swing tackle with Terrence Steele at right tackle. So keep an eye on it, but sounds like that he's good to go and there's not concern there on his part.
Hey, Rob, what's going on? I love that tie, by the way. Very smooth. But with the struggles that New England has had against stopping the run, can we see a heavy dose of Zeke and Tony Pollard this afternoon?
Barry, any fashion compliment from you, I take that to heart. I really appreciate that. Yeah. Hey, I think anything with the Cowboys running game, I would expect that to continue in terms of their approach. It's been the strength of their team, honestly. I mean, really, honestly, the strength of their team has been their balance. But you look at the statistics, they've been as good as anybody in the league besides Cleveland. And, Mike McCarthy has talked about trying to get that balance per game. He gets north of 30 rushes per game. That's what he's looking for. And he's known as a pass-first coach, which I don't know if that's accurate. So, no, I think they want to keep that going. I think Zeke Elliott said something interesting a couple weeks ago, that defenses will fit certain runs for him, and then they'll bring in Tony Pollard with a totally different running style, more shifty, a little more explosive, and that's worked to the Cowboys' benefit. So I think depending on what the Pats do schematically, I think they'll try to continue that approach.
Mr. Rob P., it's good to see you out there, man. I'm kind of jealous that you guys get the nice weather in New England. I never had that when I was out there. But the question for you is, hey, we have an amazing ground game, and we have a nice little air raid we run as well. So we're being so successful on the ground and in the air. What do you foresee Coach Belichick doing to take it away, being that he usually is known for taking away the thing that you do best?
Well, I say you know better than anybody because you've played here. I think I'm very curious to see. If I knew the answer, I would bottle it up and sell it because with Bill Belichick, you just never know for sure. You know, I went back and you watched the Tampa Bay game that they played a couple weeks ago, and they kind of gave the Bucks some chances to run, some favorable boxes, and tried to flood the passing lanes with Tom Brady. So I'm curious to see if that's what they'll do against the Cowboys receiving core that is, you know, on par with Tampa Bay's receiving core. We'll see. But as good as the Cowboys have been rushing the ball, I mean, I could see Belichick saying we've got to take that away because the play action and everything that comes off of that has really been the key to what the Cowboys have done offensively. So I'm curious to see what he does. And I think that, you know, Kellen Moore said it during the week, Cowboys offensive coordinator, they've got to be prepared in game to make adjustments because it is kind of a mystery what Belichick wants to do.
Rob Phillips live from Foxborough and Gillette Stadium, making us look bad and making us jealous with the great weather that you have out there. Rob, thanks so much. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
So, of course, Rob Phillips on the sideline. Dak Prescott warming up behind him as the Cowboys get set to take on the Patriots at 3:25. And this is the second time Dak Prescott will face a Bill Belichick defense. Here's what he had to say about the task at hand earlier in the week.
Belichick's defense are always sound. They're always disciplined. They come out and they play year in and year out consistent football on that side of the ball. So, I mean, obviously we know the challenge, but, yeah, we're ready and got enough weapons and got enough plays and ready for whatever it takes to win this game.
You treat it like every game is the same, but with Bill Belichick beating him, going against his defense, knowing the challenge that he's going to bring, is he a little more pumped up at all?
I mean, you could say so. The program that they've built, I mean, they're the consistent winners over the past 10 or so years. I mean, if you look back and they're the team of this era, of this last 10 years. And I think it starts, as I said, with just how sound his teams are and how disciplined they are. I mean, you look at the penalties, you look at what they're allowing on defense. It's a very disciplined, tough team, and they're good at what they do.
Dak, do you know how long it's been since y'all beaten the Patriots?
No, I don't pay attention to that or honestly care about it. I know we got to play them this Sunday, and a win's the only thing on my mind.
So that's the right answer from quarterback one. We don't care about the last time we beat the Patriots. However, Nate Newton does because he was on the team both times the Cowboys beat them, both at Gillette, in Foxborough. Gillette Stadium wasn't even built yet, and then back at Texas Stadium in 1996. Nate Newton with us now here at the Guitar Pick. And Nate, did you ever lose to the Patriots?
No. Nah. We didn't know about Belichick. Brady, I don't think he was born back then, but it don't even matter. We busted them up.
Okay. So if
one in overtime. I wouldn't say that. One in overtime.
Okay, you won with the Herschel Walker 60-yard run back
sir.
in '87. So if anybody has answers on how to beat the Patriots, it's this man right here. So we're going to ask you a couple things about this inactive list that the Cowboys have thrown out there today. These official, and like Rob Phillips said a couple moments ago, thank goodness there is no Tyron Smith on this list. These are pretty much the normal names. Bradley and I probably the most surprising. Dorrance Armstrong still a week or two away from his return. He has been out the last 3 weeks now on that inactive list. Anybody missing out of that worries you?
Nah, just Dorrance. We need him back. We need Armstrong back so he can bolster the rotation. If we get him back, we rolling.
How big is it the fact that Tyron Smith is active going into this matchup?
It's everything. It's everything because I worry about Matt Judon. Oh my, that's everything. Believe me.
Is that your matchup to watch? Is it really that offensive line and what they're able to do today?
Definitely. I mean, if with Tyron in now, we can still focus on with the two tight ends and the movements over there. We can make things happen. But they still have a guy, Demetrius Wise, number 91, about 6'5", arms like 80 inches long. So we got to be good there. But Tyron, he can dance by himself out there at that left tackle and do what he needs to do, and we can lead the protection of other places.
How much confidence confidence do you have in the reserves at the tackle spot? Of course, we've already seen Terrence Steele throughout the season with no Lyle Collins. But what about Ty Nsekhe? Do you have confidence in him should Tyron Smith not last the entire game?
I don't. And then that puts the stress on our offensive line to be even better. And that puts the stress on Kellen Moore to be even better and a little bit more creative. I like what Steele has done especially during the run block, but I haven't seen enough of Nsekhe to know that he can go 40 or 50 snaps. So, Tyron, hey, don't go out until we win the game, please.
It's going to be a physical matchup, and a big reason for that is the defense and the front seven from the Patriots. And one of the big names out of that is Matthew Judon. My goodness, 6.5 sacks already this year. Comes over from Baltimore, and he's had a fantastic start to his Patriots career. What does he do that is so special, and how do you slow him down?
They put him on both sides. He'll come up the middle. He'll come from both left and right outside linebacker positions. He'll drop back like he's going to drop back, and then he'll come. He's great on games. You know, the linebacker in, tackle out, he's great on that. So you got to be switching, calling games. Game, letting everybody know what's happening, because if you know where he's at, you got a chance to control him.
How tough is that to have that communication up front, and do the Cowboys have an opportunity to take advantage of it?
It's going to be easy. It's going to be easy. Just listen to the president. That's Zach Martin. Just listen to, he going to tell you where this cat at, and y'all just rock and roll from that point on.
Dallas does present a couple things offensively that the New England Patriots defense does respect on the other side. Here's Matthew Judon himself talking about what Dallas does well.
They have a pretty good offensive line, really good offensive line. High draft picks, high paid players, some players that played a lot of games together, and then some kind of newer guys to the league, but they got a lot of snaps under their belt. And so it's tough, it's a challenge. Dak also makes it hard because he's playing really good football right now. He's reading defenses very well, and he's getting the ball out of his hands fast. And his wide receivers, I don't know if it's Dak making the wide receivers look good or wide receivers making Dak look good, but it's working.
How challenging is that offense when you add in Dak, the running backs, and the receivers all together?
It's really challenging. You can see it. They number 1 or 2 in almost every category for offense. And they're scoring a lot of points. Are they number 1 in scoring? Right, they got the most points in the league so far, especially the last 4 games. They were putting up a boatload of points. Some people, they usually don't get to playing some meaningful time for them just because they up on their opponent so much. So what we got to do, we got to keep them off the board. We got to keep them off the board. Try to get stops. Try to make Dak, read some defenses and hold the ball a little longer so we can get to him. But it's just the front end playing with it. It's all 11 guys got to be on point this week, all 11 guys.
That Patriots defense, top 5 in multiple categories throughout the NFL through their first 5 games. And as you can hear from Judon himself, there is a lot of respect between these two organizations and between the two fan bases as well. Our very own Britt Johnson checks in with Cowboys Nation.
Thanks so much, Kyle. It is week 6 of the NFL season. Britt is back here with some tweets for you guys. We have some good ones for you guys. I was at the game last week. So much fun. Can't wait to go back. But we got some tweets from Cowboys Nation this week. Now, there's several of these that I have. This one is hilarious. Mac Jones, Casey Jones, Tom Jones. It's not unusual. Cowboys by 20. That is a huge score right there. But hey, I'll take it. This next one, the boys should win this game, but Belichick is dangerous. This is facts. We all know this already. Hopefully, we can get it together enough to beat this team. Next, we have another one of my favorites for this week. Mac Jones, Indiana Jones, Catherine Zeta-Jones, James Earl Jones, one of my favorites. Doesn't matter, Cowboys by 17. You guys are feeling it this week with these huge scores. Even though I was a big Patriots fan from 2002 to 2019, I will have to root for my number 1 America's team, the Dallas Cowboys. I don't know how I feel about this, John. It sounds like you were a bandwagon fan, you were a Patriots fan just when they were winning, and now you want to be a Cowboys fan again. And this one, Cowboys, what we wearing? got to wear the right jersey. I am a superstitious person as well, so yes, you have to wear the right jersey this week. Hopefully some of you guys finally got some of those Diggs jerseys. Back to you, Kyle, in the studio.
Lots of confidence amongst Cowboys Nation right now. Thank you very much, Britt. But what is the confidence level like for Kellen Moore and this offensive staff? Here's what he had to say about the challenge ahead with the Patriots defense.
Bill Belichick defense has earned the reputation of making an offense play left-handed, take away what they do best.
I'm lefty. I'm okay. Always hating on the lefties. Okay.
But as versatile as you guys have proven to be over the first 5 games, do you feel as well equipped as you could be for that challenge?
This game will be a tremendous challenge. They'll do a tremendous job preparing for us. They'll make it difficult on us. We got a big week ahead of us to prepare for this game, and this will be a big challenge going on the road to play a team like this. Really well coached, really good players. They know their system very well. They know how to make adjustments within the game, and so from our standpoint, we're going to need to prepare really well, but also understand that adjustment football may apply to this game, and we're going to have to be ready.
Is this among the hardest games to prepare for? Because you hear people say what they show one week, they're not going to do the next week, and think they just seem to have a Rolodex of things they can throw out week to week.
Yeah, certainly they can do a lot of football. They are very well coached. They're very sound in what they do. They do a great job of game planning against offenses and taking away strengths. And so as we go through this process, through this week, I think we're going to have to do a really good job of honing in our game plan, feeling very confident, and also understand that adjustments may need to be applied throughout the game, and guys got to be ready to adjust.
Kellen Moore's offense has been turning heads through the first 5 games of the year. They're top 2 in the NFL in multiple categories, and they're just the 4th team in the Super Bowl era with over 800 rushing yards and a 115 team passer rating. They're doing everything right now, Isaiah. But could this be the best defense they've seen to this point?
I don't think personnel-wise it'd be the best defense. I think intellectually, in terms of who you're going against, this would be Kellen Moore's greatest challenge. I think as an offensive coordinator, I think every team, every offensive coordinator in the league ever wants to check the box of saying beat Bill Belichick. I think that's something that everybody wants to do. So they have to be on their P's and Q's. They have to be high intellect, okay, and they have to be disciplined and persistence in their approach today.
I agree with you 100%, Isaiah. This is going to be a smart team, and they're going to throw at different quarters. They're going to throw 1 or 2 different looks at you just to make you think what's going on. But they don't have the personnel all around, like front end, back end, and linebackers to do any damage to the Cowboys.
Now, this Patriots defense, one thing they do exceptionally well is in the red zone. They're allowing only 50% efficiency in the red zone, and in the past that has been a bugaboo for Kellen Moore's offense. Is that going to be another problem today, Isaiah?
I think it's a challenge, mainly because of the fact that, down there in the trenches, it's hard to run the ball. And in the red zone, you always want the ability to be able to run the ball. These guys are stout, they're disciplined, and they're well coached. So those gaps are going to be consumed. Also on the second level, these guys are big as well. These boys are 260, 270 across at their outside linebacker positions. So these guys take up and they consume a lot of space. So there's going to be not a lot of room back there. We have to be very disciplined in our approach.
You know what? You got to execute. And if you can run that ball in early, if you get down there early and you can run that ball in, then you just start everything they're trying to do. But if you can't run that ball and they can dictate to you, we will have our hands full.
The Cowboys offense has been starting with the run. I mean, the ground game has been so efficient through the first 5 games. They're the only team in the NFL with 2 top 10 rushers, both Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard. How do they keep that going, Nate?
Man, just execute. You'll keep hearing me say this the whole deal. Just keep executing. Make sure you get your man. Know your job, Isaiah.
Yeah, I think, obviously, Big Nate, when you're trying to get these big fellas off the ball, you want to run these boys sideline to sideline. I don't think the approach is running vertical initially, much like we did in Tampa, right? Just these guys are too stout up front. So let's make these big guys move sideline to sideline. Let's use Pollard. Let's use Zeke with these outside zones. And once these guys get a little bit gas, now we have the ability to get our leverage underneath them and move them back off the ball vertically.
If the Cowboys offense has gone with the hot hand at the tailback position, which one of these guys do you feel like has the best advantage to have a big day today?
Honestly, I think Pollard is better suited for these guys, simply because of their lack thereof speed on that side of the ball.
Yeah, you may want to take a reverse approach. Start with Pollard outside, and all of a sudden, when you get them a little winded, hit them with Zeke.
So you could expect Pollard early in the game instead of vice versa?
It just depends on what Belichick gives him.
What do you expect him to give?
Hey, he's going to take away the run. inside, outside, all around. He thinks he can win with his inside three guys of Demetrius, Davis, and Guy. He think he can win with them.
And definitely so. They've done that throughout the year. Now, the wins haven't been come flooding in for the Patriots like they have in the past, but here's what Zeke expects to see from Belichick's defense.
But I mean, you know, they're gonna come with a great scheme. They're one of the hardest defenses to play against. That I've played against, just with what they run, how they disguise their coverages. It's not simple at all. And so it's going to be one of the more complex defensive schemes we're going to play this year. So just the biggest thing for us is just make sure we're staying in our film, make sure we're putting in that little bit of extra time because we're going to need it this week.
Amari was saying one of the things he thinks about it, he's like, we need to be cleaner because the better you do, the closer you start thinking about a Super Bowl, and you can't make these mistakes later on. How much is that the mentality around this team?
That's mentality from top to bottom of the organization. We know we've put some wins together, but we haven't played the cleanest football. We've been saying the past couple of weeks, we got to make that next step.
Is this the most unselfish team you've been around? How does that compare to past?
I don't know if you can compare it to past teams, but this is definitely a very unselfish team. We all just want to see each other do well because we understand that when we all do well, we're going to win football games, and that's when everyone's going to be happy.
Doing his best to forecast what's going to happen this afternoon at Gillette Stadium in Foxborough. But who better to tell you what's going to happen and give his own forecast than a little insight from Isaiah Stanback, who played at Gillette Stadium.
Thanks so much, Kyle. Britt Johnson here with Isaiah Stanback now. Isaiah, I had to have you on this segment because you are the one person here that knows the answer, hopefully, to this. You played with the Patriots in 2009. You won a Super Bowl against the Patriots in 2012. What do the Dallas Cowboys need to do to beat Bill Belichick?
I can tell you the first thing you have to do is play mistake-free football. You cannot give this man right here the ability to have more opportunities to take advantage of this team. These guys are well coached offensively. They got Mac Jones, this rookie quarterback who doesn't seem to be playing like a rookie.
Not at all.
He's a smart guy, and because he's a smart guy, Coach Belichick throws a lot on his plate. Let me give you guys an idea. When I left the Dallas Cowboys to go play for the New England Patriots, I got picked up as a quarterback. I had played that position in college. So when I went out there, day one, he dropped this thing right here on my lap. This thing right here is the playbook for the New England Patriots.
That looks heavy. I got to do a couple curls here, okay? Yeah, this is heavy.
It's real.
It's a lot of information, especially for a rookie quarterback.
So he has every situation probably ever known to man in football right in this book right here. He is going to be more than prepared as they go forward against this Dan Quinn defense. We have to be able to make some plays on him, but don't be too risky. And then on the other side of the ball, we just have to be able to move the ball, move these chains, score points.
Now, speaking of this playbook, has Bill Belichick's playbook changed? We've had several offensive coordinators there, but is it really the same scheme that's been happening over the last 20-plus years?
Yeah, if you look back at the lineage, Charlie Weiss, then you had McDaniels, then you went to Billy O'Brien, and now you're back to McDaniels. The foundation is there. These guys are doing everything that they can, using all their resources. These guys are on the field, if they're playing for Coach Belichick, best believe they're high intellect guys, and they are selfless individuals who are going to go out there and try to play mistake-free football.
Well, Zeke did say that they have been watching a lot more film this week than they do in a normal week. So hopefully we can change Bill Belichick's record from 6-1 against the Dallas Cowboys to 6-2. Back to you guys in the studio.
You know what, Britt? I agree. The Cowboys need to get a win against Bill Belichick because the last time they did so, the #1 song was Bryan Adams' Everything I Do for You.
Right.
One of the top movies in the theaters were Terminator 2. It was Terminator 2, which is a classic, by the way.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. It was a classic. And Mike McCarthy specifically, he was 27 years old, and he was a graduate assistant at Pitt. So how does he match up against Bill Belichick, one of the greatest coaches of all time? Well, he actually stands up pretty well. If you look at the Super Bowl wins, they each do have a ring. Now, he's got a couple more on the other hand for Bill Belichick.
Right.
But overall, these are two of the most decorated current coaches in the NFL. So, Barry, I ask you this question. Would beating a Bill Belichick and entering the bye week at 5-1, would that give Mike McCarthy the credit that he's been deserved so throughout the first 6 weeks?
I think he'll get credit, for being one of the, legendary NFL coaches out there. But I think he deserves a lot more credit for putting his coaching staff together. I mean, this staff is getting the most out of its players. And what he's doing is he is allowing Dan Quinn and Kellen Moore to kind of work their magic in there. He doesn't seem like a my way or the highway type of head coach. And that, to me, that approach to the game has proven dividends for this Dallas Cowboys team. And they're on their way right now.
I just think he's so focused on winning, fellas. He's so focused on winning and making sure his coordinators be in a position to get to his position coaches and the position coaches into the players. I don't think he really cares. He's so unassuming on the sideline, but evidently he's making the right calls.
You're exactly right. And at some point, it all does go back to what Mike McCarthy does say from the sideline. How has he put those coordinators in a place to have some success?
Because he's not overbearing. There's some head coaches out there that said, I don't like this play. I don't like how you're doing this scheme. But he's letting Dan Quinn and he's letting Kellen Moore do what they got to do to get the most out of their players. And right now, that's the spot for the Cowboys right now.
I mean, this guy came in from day one trying not to change only what needed to be changed. He's fixed things that need the culture, how people think, the way they do things. He's changed that. That's how you start winning.
No doubt about it. And one of the guys who does that so exceptionally well, kind of that overarching figure, letting the coordinators do it well, Bill Belichick on the other sideline. And here's a very lively Bill Belichick on what he thinks about the Cowboys and what they bring to the table.
Good mix of, young players and guys kind of in their prime and, some veteran players, some guys they've acquired, added to their team, and, guys like Kazee and guys like that. And then there's other guys that obviously are big draft choices and some of their core players. So just overall very impressive level of talent. And offensively, Coach McCarthy and Dan Quinn mentioned Fossil. Like they're very, very well coached. Do a really good job offensively with their schemes and put a lot of pressure on the defense. And, defensively, as I said, they pretty much do everything well. They're ranked at the top of the league in almost every category on offense and defense, and a good kicking game. So not really a lot of weaknesses on this team. Averaging 40 points a game in the last 3 weeks, and won pretty decisively. Beat the Chargers. They're obviously a good team there. That's our only loss. So it's a pretty talented team. We know we're going to have to play our best game, and so that's what we're going to get ready to do.
Has his style changed much since the injury? Obviously that was a severe thing dealt with.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It was right at the top of the league in passing. I mean, they're at the top of the league and everything. So whatever stat you want to talk about, they're at the top of the league in it. So he's a trigger guy, so he's making it all go.
The always radiant Bill Belichick. Doesn't he just make you want to smile? just let it out a little bit, just smile a little bit. Well, Bill Belichick, certainly a fantastic head coach, and all joking aside, he is one of the best, if not the best, in NFL history, and the rings certainly show it as well. But is the best coaching matchup today actually between the coordinators? You look at Dan Quinn, Josh McDaniels. Those two guys have battled it out in Super Bowls, 2 of them to be exact. McDaniels got the better of Quinn in Super Bowl 49 with Seattle, and again in Super Bowl 51 when Quinn was the head coach in Atlanta. So I ask you, what do you think about this coordinator battle?
Oh, it's definitely a battle. I mean, anytime you face an opposing coordinator in the Super Bowl, not only one time, but 2 times, and you fall to them both times, one time as a head coach in the worst comeback in the history of the NFL, that's something that stings. So now he has an opportunity to come back at him to get his retribution against Josh McDaniels. But this time he's doing it with a team that's flooded with talent on the defensive side of the ball. He has a bunch of goons out there that are fast, physical, playing relentless, and these guys are playing smart, taking the ball away. He's excited to face these guys.
Yeah, I got to give the slight advantage to Dan Quinn on this one. Like you said, he has these guys flying around the football, and more importantly, they're taking the football away. I believe they're a +7 in turnover differential so far this season, and to me, that's the most important stat in football. And then when you look at New England's side of the ball, I don't really see them having any game changers or big-time playmakers that can affect this secondary deep. So for me, I got to say I like my odds with Dan Quinn.
And also not to mention McDaniels having to find their footing a little bit with this Patriots offense behind a rookie quarterback, Mac Jones, who has gotten off to a pretty decent start. He's 5th in the NFL in completion percentage, plus he has 5 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Probably not the best numbers as you look at it right there, but the completion percentage, it's actually the highest for a rookie through his first 5 starts since 1950. The man who held that mark previously, Dak Prescott, in 2016. So Mac Jones off to a pretty good start. Isaiah, what does he do well that could challenge this Cowboys defense?
He's smart. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes. You see his stats right there, 5 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Those interceptions I'm sure he wish he had back, but look at the completion percentage, 71%. Coach McDaniels has put him in a great position to be able to make plays and make smart decisions and make them easy. And there's some things that you guys can see on the film where he has all the coverage beaters all in one play. So all he has to do is find the safeties, and he gets the team in a good position. He's not going to make a lot of mistakes. He puts these guys in good position. All he has to do is learn how to trust his playmakers, and then he's going to be a problem.
Yeah, this is a very smart quarterback out there. And what he does is he's kind of takes what the defense gives him. So if I'm a Cowboys player defensively, we have got to remain patient out there. We cannot go up there and get greedy and jump up on all the short stuff or the dink and dunk stuff, because that's when Mac Jones has an opportunity to take you deep. So if I'm a defender on the Cowboys, stay patient, and we should be able to take advantage of Mac Jones and this New England offense.
Mac Jones going to have to do exactly kind of like what you were saying. Give what the defense gives you. Or take what the defense gives you, I should say. And right now, the Cowboys defense is doing nothing but taking from opposing offenses. Tons of turnovers through the first 5 weeks. Here's what Mac Jones had to say about the challenge of that Cowboys defense, and then also seeing a familiar face on the other sideline.
Mac, you went up against Trevon Diggs maybe in practice.
Yeah.
29. Any good memories, and what's it been like reviewing it on film this week?
Yeah, he's a great player, and I got a chance to practice against him a lot at Alabama, and he has a really good feel for the game. He's very instinctual, very smart, fast, quick, explosive, strong. So he does it all really well, and I'm really proud of how he's been playing. And it's going to be fun to get a chance to be on the field with him again.
Did he get you when you were running scout?
Oh yeah, yeah. He definitely made plays, and we had a lot of good players. I don't have to talk about the past, but it was a good experience to get whoever it was back there playing against guys who are in the NFL right now starting, so it was a good experience.
Because of how he's playing right now, I think it's interceptions in 5 straight games. Do you have to kind of be aware of where he is in that matchup?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's all over the tape. He's sideline to sideline making plays and playing his technique, and you have to be aware of where he is at all times. And yeah, he makes plays, and it's not just him too. There's other guys on the team that are also making plays, and they all play hard and they play together. So it's a really good all-around defense, and you know, they play together as a team, and we got to be ready to go.
Ended up with not 14 interceptions, so that's a problem.
Throws down the left side, that ball's intercepted at the 20-yard line by Trevon Diggs. Back to throw, out to the left, it is broken up and intercepted by Diggs again, Diggs again, Diggs again. Back to throw, checked down, over the middle, intercepted by Diggs. Right sideline, 30, Diggs 20, Diggs house.
6 interceptions for Trevon Diggs in 5 games as he has had a historic start to the season, and he looks to make it 6 straight games with an interception to start the year against his former Alabama teammate in the aforementioned Mac Jones. So a historic start, no doubt about it. But Barry, is Trevon Diggs on his way to being elite?
I would have to say so. I mean, I can't think of 3 cornerbacks in the National Football League right now that are playing better football than Trevon Diggs. And it's not like he's getting tipped interceptions or Hail Mary interceptions. This guy is going to get the football. Like, when the ball's in the air, he's turning into the wide receiver. So for me, this guy is playing at an elite level right now. And, hey, I'm not so sure if anybody's better than him.
No, hands down, this dude is an elite cornerback right now. He is the most feared corner in the NFL. That is a tall order to stand behind right now. There's some really good corners in this league, but he is definitely the most feared right now. He's taking regular, ordinary plays that normally are knockdown plays for cornerbacks, and he's turning them into turnovers. When quarterbacks are facing against him, he's facing opposing quarterbacks, they have to be perfect. And if they're not, he's going the opposite direction.
An interception today against Mac Jones. He would join Minnesota's Brian Russell as the only player with an interception in his team's first 6 games. Russell did that back in 2003. But here's what Diggs said about what he expects from Mac Jones and what he could bring to the table.
He's a very smart quarterback, like very smart, really accurate, you know, can make all the, you know, intermediate throws, short throws, he make all the throws very accurate, and he's really smart. So, you know, you just got to be cautious with players like that, you know, so I expect a lot from him.
Your practice experience against Mac at Alabama helped you at all for this game?
I wouldn't say that because, you know, he's grown as a player. When I was playing, he was behind Tua, so I didn't really get to experience him. So, you know, he has tons of ability. Like, I seen him his last year and this year, you know, the things he's doing, like, he's grown tremendously, like, rare. So, you know, like I say, he's a good quarterback.
Do you feel like you have to get all the interceptions now?
Yeah, I'm trying to get everything that I can. Like, I hope they don't stop throwing at me, you know. I don't think they are, but it is what it is if it happens. But, you know, I still want to make plays on everything that come my way, so that's my plan. I really try not to think about it. You know, I try to focus my mind. When I get outside of the building, I try to focus my mind on, you know, other things, you know, like family, you know, my friends, and, you know, football. So I try to just stay away from that stuff and just lock in on that, you know, just stay away as much as possible because, you know, it's human nature to, you know, you hear someone talking about you so much, you know, it can become lax, and, you know, I never want to become lax, so I just try to stay away from it as possible as much as I can, you know, say thank you when I can say thank you, but, you know, I never try to go fishing for information or anything like that. I just try to stay focused, stay right here.
So thanks to Trayvon Diggs, the Cowboys have 12 takeaways through the first 5 weeks. In 2020, they only had 3 takeaways in their first 5 games. And they're going to have to do it, Isaiah, against the Bill Belichick offense that is known for rub routes and really trying to confuse a defense.
Yeah, absolutely. Coach Belichick is going to test you in your discipline at your first and your second level. So we're going to run you guys through a little scenario here so you guys have an understanding of what to expect in today's game. All right, so Miss Britt Johnson is going to be playing the role of Jacoby Myers, their leading receiver, the highest targeted receiver, almost by double on their entire
right
team.
Here.
We got Kyle who's going to be playing the role of Mac Jones, a young rookie, high intellect quarterback. We got my big dog, Big Nate's going to be playing Jonu Smith, all right, one of their tight ends they picked up this offseason. And then we got Big BC is going to be playing their biggest threat on their team, Hunter Henry. We're going to show you guys what that looks like. Everybody go ahead and get in position right now. So as you guys see, they picked up their 2 big tight ends this offseason. This is the threat of their offense right here. All right, Mac Jones is going to be back there at quarterback position. Britt's going to be playing Myers. So here we go. Ready, set, and go. Now, at the snap of the ball, you guys see Myers is going to be coming across this formation right here, trying to draw the attention. Remember, he's the highest targeted receiver on this team. Along with that, you got big old Smith right there going to the other side. He's going to sit down on the edge of that zone as well. So what do you have going on here? You have underneath right here pulling away the linebacker. You got Big Smith over there pulling away the linebackers. What does that leave right here in the middle? It opens up a nice little window, a.k.a. the Red Sea for Hunter Henry. He's going to be testing out the discipline of our second level, our linebackers. Can they train their eyes? Can they be disciplined enough to make sure that they stay in their zones and make some plays?
That's huge for the Cowboys defensively because communication was such a big part of Dan Quinn and what he was able to do in terms of his transition into the defensive mindset. Now, they're also going to get after Mac Jones a little bit. He's not going to have nearly as much time as I did in terms of throwing the football around. So he has to have time for those plays to develop. And Britt, you got a chance to sit down with one of the guys who's going to get after Mac Jones.
Yes, we're breaking out of this and getting a little one-on-one action with Terrell Basham. I did an interview 1st and 10 with Britt Johnson with him this week. You get to know him a little bit better. So let's check that one out. You can watch the full episode on DallasCowboys.com. I heard that you went to military school for like a year before you went into college. How did that help you with what you did on the football field?
It helped a lot because it helped me with punctuality, knowing how being on time and being accountable, you know what I'm saying, not just for yourself but for other people, and being reliable and being able to be someone who others trust and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? So all that really was stuff that like I built on in military school that I felt like I needed to work on prior to going to.
Now, a couple weeks ago in an interview, you said that the defense's identity is energy and effort. How do you work on that and build that off the field?
One thing that we do as a D-line is every Thursday we go out to eat. You know, we hang out. We watch the Thursday night football game together and stuff like that. And that type of energy, that type of camaraderie is like, it carries on to the field, you know. When you see that guy who, you know, you bond with, who you talk about, who you tell about like your family, about your kids, you know what I'm saying, your wife, your loved one, whatever, your mother, your grandparents, you know what I'm saying, who y'all share holidays with throughout the whole season, you know, and that bond carries on to the field, you know, so you really try to do your best for that guy.
We could definitely see the energy. A funny quote that you said when you kind of first joined the team is same-ish, different toilet. And I loved that. Going into this week, you guys are on a 4-game win streak. Do you still have that feeling after you win a game when you get back on that field? Is it just, oh, same-ish, different toilet, we're just gonna act like last week didn't happen?
Yeah.
Or is it like you are excited because you guys are winning?
I'm sorry. Randy's behind the camera
Randy,
rolling around.
This interview. You know what the funny thing is? Randy last week said that you were always trying to be on camera.
Randy said I'm always trying to be on camera. And
really, look at him.
Randy.
Look at him over here
look
trying
at
to get in
Randy.
our shot. Dang, Randy, you had your moment last week.
You want to come join the show?
Dang.
You want to come join the show?
Dang, he had his moment last week, and look at him just coming in here. And yes, he did say that about you last week. Huh. Randy Gregory, trying to steal your shine.
Trying to steal my thunder.
All right, so let's go back to the same-ish, different toilet thing. Like going into a week, do you guys have that Tuesday to just kind of take a break and then be excited from the week, and then Wednesday you come in ready for practice like nothing happened?
Yeah, Tuesday we do get the break. It's really to get your body back right. Try to get healed up, do some recovery things and stuff like that. That's what I do. I get massages, try to get my hair cut, maybe get it braided, you know.
I see you have fresh braids today. Okay.
Yeah, you know, yesterday was Tuesday, I got them done. So it's the extracurricular stuff, you know, you get done on Tuesdays.
Well, I'm glad we had you on today then.
I'm glad I made it. Because we got my good side.
Have you actually ever scored a touchdown, high school, like anything?
I was a receiver in high school.
Receiver
I
in
wore
high
number
school?
2, yep.
Did you have a dance back then?
You weren't allowed to dance.
No. Well, you're allowed to dance on 1st and 10. So we are gonna do your touchdown dance right now.
Okay.
Okay, so in the end zone for a 50-yard touchdown, Terrell Basham. Woo, 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 woo. Touchdown dance. Hey.
Oh, that's awesome. You can catch the entire interview on DallasCowboys.com. Barry, as a defender, you got to have some kind of touchdown dance
some
ready.
Some type of sauce, some type of swag out there. You just can't go out there regular degular. Right here, right now.
I want to see
I don't know if y'all ready for it. Let me loosen up these knees.
It didn't stretch beforehand. Sorry, I didn't give you that much of a lead in. And Terrell Basham, obviously, one of the more vibrant personalities in the Cowboys locker room. So much fun to hear from him and to really talk to him throughout. But he's not asked to do this very often, nor would he pretty much be against it if he were to go up against it. But he's not going to have to cover the tight ends from the New England Patriots. And thank goodness for Terrell Basham, because there are a couple really good tight ends on this Patriots roster. What do they do so effectively that could challenge this Cowboys defense?
Well, they're extremely quarterback friendly out there. When it goes into the zone coverages, these guys know exactly where to sit down to be friendly to their rookie quarterback out there. And in the red zone, they come alive out there. I mean, we seen last week, I think it was Hunter Henry went out there and had 2 touchdown grabs in the red zone. So these guys come alive. I think they're going to get a lot of targets this game, especially with the non-factors outside at the wide receiver they have for them. So this should be a matchup to look up for.
Yeah, these two guys give them versatility, plain and simple. These are 2 of the best 5 tight ends from last year in terms of receptions, in terms of playmaking ability. And they were able to not only just go out and get one, but they got both of these guys to come on this roster. So these guys not only can block out the line of scrimmage, but obviously they can challenge you in the receiving game.
Just beat them up. Be physical. If you own them, be physical, beat them up, get the timing off. Like Isaiah said, there's not much outside.
And maybe that is up to guys like Terrell Basham coming off the edge, Randy Gregory kind of bringing that physicality. Hunter Henry, 2 straight games with a touchdown, and then also Jonnu Smith signed a 4-year, $50 million contract this offseason to be a part of the Patriots. So there's a lot of investment in that tight end room. Now, the Cowboys have some investment in their own tight end room as well. One of the tight ends, Dalton Schultz, having a career start to the year. Already 3 touchdowns. He had 4 in all of 2020. You look at his season numbers right here. Barry, what kind of game can he have against this Patriots defense?
I think he can have a big game. I mean, this is a chain mover, all right? This guy's extremely quarterback friendly, and he does great in his one-on-ones. He kind of lulls you to sleep a little bit when he's running his routes out there, but most importantly, this guy moves the chains, gets first downs on 3rd and 5s, 3rd and 3s, and those type of situations. So I think he can have a huge impact that way against the New England Patriots.
I need Schultzenegger to go off today. Yeah, the reason being is because these guys, the disadvantage to having a big front seven like the New England Patriots have, having Vanoy, having Hightower, these big 260-pound linebackers at the second level, is they don't move that well in space. So let's go ahead and get Schultz to the second level, let him find those gaps in the zone coverage, and let him continue to move these chains like BC just said.
Schultz, what I need for you to do today, before you go out, tap Judon and then go into your route, all right, and make things right.
Now, you mentioned zone, Isaiah, but he, according to Pro Football Focus, is a top 2 tight end against man coverage. How much man are the Patriots going to throw at Dalton Schultz today?
It would be a mistake if they played man against us. So our personnel, we have too many weapons on that side of the ball, and I think Coach Belichick knows that. But he is going to try to trick us. He's going to try to confuse the mess out of Dak Prescott by disguising the schemes in the coverages. But Dalton Schultz will have an opportunity to find those gaps.
And there's a couple guys that are going to be able to cover him around. And we mentioned Trayvon Diggs earlier in his 6 interceptions. There were just 2 players last year in the NFL that had more interceptions throughout the entire season than Trayvon Diggs has right now. One of those 2 is on the opposite sideline, and J.C. Jackson. He had 9 picks a year ago. He has 2 this year, 19 career, as you see his career numbers here. He's most likely going to go up against Amari Cooper from a pass catcher standpoint. Who has the advantage, though, Barry, between those 2 vets?
A fully healthy Amari Cooper, I'm going with Coop. But since he's dealing with a couple, little ribs here and there, hamstring, he has some issues going on right now. So I'm going to say the slight advantage goes to J.C. Jackson. I mean, this is a guy that excels in press coverage. He fights you to the down. No matter what it is going on, he fights you to the very end. He always makes it a contested catch. That's what he can do out there. So to me, I got to give the slight edge to J.C. Jackson.
How dare you? Listen up. Even with some bruised ribs and a little tweaked hammy, I'm going with my guy Coop, dog. If they decide to play man-to-man single high coverage, I'm going with 1-9 all day long. However, I don't foresee him receiving that coverage. I think they're going to run a 2-man technique, which means that Jackson's going to be on the inside, pressing up hard, and then he'll have help over the top.
It's all about the art of war with that guy, man, Cooper. I tell you what, they playing checkers, he playing chess because he's one step always ahead. I'm always going with Amari Cooper.
Well, and he also knows the importance of having his piece in the part of this Cowboys puzzle. He knows he needs to be available despite the ribs, despite the hamstring, and he knows the importance of a matchup like this. Here's, in his own words, what he had to say about how much the Cowboys need to get a win on the road in New England.
Yeah, it's a really important game for us. Just because who they are, who they were, and who they still are. They like I said, they still have the same coach. They present a challenge to us. He's a really smart coach, really studious coach, and they just play differently than a lot of other teams. And they're going to present a lot of challenging looks for us on offense and defense. So it's going to be a big game for us.
See the same Patriots defense these years, or a little bit of wrinkles?
It's the same. It's the same type of thing. Obviously the personnel is a bit different. That's with every team every year, but they have the same philosophy under Belichick. They just try to take away the strengths of whoever they're playing, and they give you multiple different looks. I would say that's the biggest difference. Usually in NFL, teams kind of stick with what they do, but their defense over there, they'll switch to anything that they feel like will stop the team they're playing. So.
In his 2 career games against New England, Amari Cooper held to just 3 receptions for 28 yards and a touchdown. He does have a touchdown out of his 3 catches, but like he said there, New England's going to throw a couple different looks at Amari Cooper, at these Cowboys wide receivers. How much of an advantage does that give New England on the defensive side of the ball?
Well, when you're trying to confuse a quarterback out there, if he gets disguised a little bit, he's going to hold the ball longer than he wants to hold the ball. So that's the advantage for the New England Patriots right there, and hopefully it'll give time for their defensive line to get there. But with our offensive line going against it, and Dak seeing as many defenses as he already seen, I won't be surprised if he diced his secondary up.
Take away Coop, CD kills you. Take away CD, Schultz kills you. Take away Schultz, you got Zeke, you got Paula. It doesn't matter who they want to take away. We have the ability to go out there and hit these guys in the mouth simply because we have more personnel than they have.
Dink and dunk, open up like they used to, dinking and dunk, and then just take them over the top, and everything will be okay.
And that's without Michael Gallup, who, of course, is still eligible to return starting next week, or 2 weeks from now, because the bye week does follow. Let's go back out to Gillette Stadium, where our very own Nick Eatman is now joined by Cowboys COO Stephen Jones.
Thanks so much, Kyle. And yes, I'm here with Stephen Jones, Cowboys Chief Operating Officer, as always. And I know, as always, you got to be excited about this when your team's playing really well into an environment that we haven't seen a win, not even in this stadium ever. So what's it going to take to pull that off and beat this Patriots team?
Well, first of all, hats off to this organization. What a dynasty they had, or in the middle of, with Coach Belichick and, of course, Tom Brady. It was not many teams came in here and got wins. Unfortunately, we haven't gotten one since we've been in the league. But, certainly we're going to put our best foot forward today. Obviously, Coach Belichick's the master of exploiting any weaknesses you have, and certainly being able to shut down some of your strengths. So we'll have our work cut out for us. They're a tight end-oriented football team, always have been up here, and they're the same. And obviously defensively, they put a lot of challenges out there in front of you to move the football. But certainly it'd be great to somehow figure out how to leave here one time with a win.
There's been a lot of talk about what Belichick might take away. Is he going to take away the run, take away the pass, tight ends? Is that a good problem to have, knowing that you have so many weapons? It's not going to be easy to just say, I'll take anything away.
Well, certainly being multiple gives you great opportunities to not let opposing defenses focus on and shut down what you do best. And right now we are playing well in a lot of areas on the offensive side of the ball, whether it's running the football, whether it's throwing the football around. It'll be interesting to see where our opportunities might lie today. But certainly our guys are ready for the challenge. Dak and that offense have put in a lot of work this week, knowing that they're going to see probably some interesting looks that they hadn't seen before. And then on the other side of the ball, obviously, we just got to play fast. We're playing against a rookie quarterback who's beyond his years in terms of being smart. And as we said, they like to use their tight ends, but we got to get after him.
Beyond his years, you could also say is Trayvon Diggs, who's 6 interceptions in 5 games. And, of course, he showed up on the injury report. Any concern he is going to play in this game? Any concern on him not being at 100%?
No, we feel good about him. Obviously, since Mike's been here, he's really stressed the ball. We're playing against a guy today who, as his tenure as a head coach, he leads all teams in terms of the takeaway ratio, and our guy's right behind him at number 2. So we got to protect the ball today, and certainly we got to go get it as well.
Speaking of injuries, Tyron Smith also, anytime you see a neck injury there, everybody gets a little bit concerned. Was it a little bit more of a precautionary thing with him? You feel good about him playing on the left tackle?
Feel really good that he'll be fine. Just a little setback there, but nothing that is going to keep him from playing and being able to go. He feels great, and I think he'll have a great game today.
All right, I'm going to ask you about your defense one more time. Randy Gregory, Micah Parsons. I know that, Belichick has been a master of putting guys in all different places. You feel like you can do the same with a guy like Parsons and maybe move him around a little bit?
Well, that's been the unique thing about Micah, is he is a guy who can do a lot of things for us. He can rush the passer. He's great in pass coverage. He can obviously run sideline to sideline with his unique 4-3 speed. So he's just a unique football player, and on top of all that, he's very instinctive and got a nose for the ball. So feel good about our situation.
And last one, we give a lot of respect, and rightfully so, to Bill Belichick. He gave some respect to you as well. You guys have, I guess, worked together over the years in the competition committee. Can you talk about your relationship there and just the friendship that's been formed and the mutual respect?
Well, the main thing is just the respect. Anytime, you get a chance to have conversations with a guy like Coach Belichick and the success he's had, you take advantage of that, and appreciate the kind words he had to say about our organization. And Will McClay and our personnel staff was outstanding, but obviously he's not one of the greatest coaches of all time. He's got those 6 Super Bowl rings, and we got our work cut out for us.
Well, let's see if we can get a win and get that first win in this place like you talked about. All right, that's Stephen Jones, Cowboys Chief Operating Officer. Kyle, we'll throw it back to you and the crew.
Thanks so much, Nick. And yeah, you just heard from Stephen Jones himself. Everything going right for the Cowboys at 4-1, trying to get to 5-1 prior to the bye week. Micah Parsons was also mentioned in that interview, and he had a couple words on how this camaraderie in this locker room is still beginning to mesh.
It's crazy because in my experience, I've never been in a bad locker room. And, I'm hearing other guys coming up, man. I never had a team like this. I never had, a bond like this. And I think that's a good feeling because, when you feel everybody coming out and doing it, it's like, man, something's really going on here. So to have all these guys coming in, that means they buying in. Like when you got it's different when you got 5 guys buying in. Mind you, it's 48 players that got to come out on Sunday. So then you got 10 guys buying in. Then you got less than 20% coming in on Saturday. So now you got 90, 95, 100% of guys buying into the program. And I think that's been the key to winning because now you got everybody on the same page. Everybody wants to succeed. Some people, at the end of the day, it's like I said, it's still a business. You know, either way you get a check on Thursday. And now you got guys that getting that love back in the game. And then when you got love for the game, you're going to enjoy it and you're going to play more for it. So I think that's always important for me. If I ever start loving football, I wouldn't play it no more. Because to me, it's like the money's cool, but you got to have love. And when you got love and you winning, it makes it even better. It makes it fun again. Like Pee-wee time.
So Micah Parsons, of course, talking about that locker room and finding a little bit of a camaraderie. And it's easy to do that when you're winning. You've won 4 straight, a chance for 5 straight in Foxborough, Gillette Stadium against the Patriots. Barry Church, how do they get the 5th straight win with your keys to the game?
Well, I'm going to say the same thing I've been saying for 3 weeks now. All right, and the boys on the defensive side of the ball, they've been listening to me. Continue to take the ball away, whether that's stripping these guys, interceptions, it don't matter. Take the ball away from this young quarterback, get it back to your offense, and let's get these dubs.
Okay, I see you, BC. And for me, I'm going to say for us on the offensive side of the ball, let's clean up these little fumbles and all these interceptions. Let's clean all that up, okay? Don't allow these guys to have more opportunities on the offensive side of the ball. When these guys decide to be on offense, let's play smart. Don't extend these drives. Play smart. Don't have bad penalties because Mac Jones, eventually he's going to catch on fire.
The one place where I think they got a positive, that's in the middle of their defense. That's with Demetrius, Wise, that's with Guy, that's with the other guy, Big Davis. All of them are big guys, long arms, and that's where our left guard and our center have a few problems that can get driven back. If they can hold water, we should be successful.
You know, another one, this is our key to the game that we talk about every week on this show. It's look good, play good, perform well. Look at Nate Newton down here at the end. No wonder he had such a good show today.
Look at the watch.
I mean, look at it. Oh, okay, now you're trying to pass it off to everybody. Look at the jacket from Nate Newton. Love the game on the jacket. Yes, chef's kiss from Barry Church.
Stupendous.
You know it already. But that's going to do it for us here on Cowboys Pregame Live. Special thanks to our entire crew, Britt Johnson, Nick Eatman, Rob Phillips, Nate Newton, Isaiah Stanback, Barry Church. I'm Kyle Yeomans. 3:25 kickoff. It's the Cowboys and the Patriots. Tony Romo, Jim Nantz on the call. Enjoy the game, everybody.